Okay, so I wanted to, I guess, just put down in recording form or video
Eliminate the
form,
terrorists.
the popular formats of the day. Uh, some thoughts regarding the newest nerf that they put on Echo in Siege. Because, well, I think it's pretty important because Echo is, if not necessarily the most popular guy, he was the most popular one to get banned for the longest time. Uh, so I think he should have gotten nerfed, and they did nerf Echo. So, on board with that so far. Uh, just doing terrorist hunt to have something going on in the background, and playing Dokkaebi since she's the other relevant operator in this. So, so people who, I don't know, don't have Echo and want to know why this is of significance and why people are banning Echo. Echo has two drones called yokai drones that he can, as a defender, that he can deploy, and with them he can hit the spacebar to have them latch up to the ceiling where they turn cloaked, sort of similar to if you've seen Legion's goo mines. Very hard to see. And from there, the cloaked yokai can shoot little concussive blasts that recharge their ammo. And those concussive blasts are, well, they're kind of annoying. They function the same way as like Sophia's concussion launcher or Ella's Grismot mines. Which, if you don't have any characters, that just means that they impair your vision and stun you. What's more important for the reason that Echo was always getting banned in unranked and ranked is that a concussive force can interrupt you planting the diffuser on a bomb site. So as you might imagine, that's annoying as hell. Especially if it's in a late game situation, Echo can use, and I mean he has to be alive, but he can deny a push from off-site, roaming somewhere where the enemy won't have time to find him, and then he can deny the plant, stall it out for probably longer than anyone would think is a reasonable amount to stall it out for, and just end the game that way. And so, as a result, he's been banned a ton. He has, I think he's the second highest defensive ban rate after Mira, and his feels more cheesy or oppressive than Mira's, because Mira's is more just really useful because as of right now the game is in an intel meta. And that's also part of it with Echo, is that he gets two drones on defense that function as cameras that his teammates can look through. Even if he's dead and they can't use them to deny once he's dead, but he's still very strong because intel is powerful right now, and he's added two drones, which, as you might imagine, and they're invisible drones if they're on the ceiling, which means that he can just, even if he's dead, he can just sit on his cameras and ping opponents to distract them or make callouts. So what they did to nerf him, and the reason I'm playing Dokkaebi right now, is so when Dokkaebi finds a defeated opponent, or dead enemy, not a terrorist hunt, but like in PvP, she can take out her little phone and hold in to hack in and take over their cameras. It used to be that up until now, the only exception to that was Echo's drones couldn't be hacked, and there was an in-game reason for why, and war and whatnot. That's not that important. The point is just that now she can hack his cameras, her team can then look through the Echo drones, and that'll let them know where the Echo drones are, and it'll let them destroy them more easily. So, fun little counter to Echo. The downside, in my mind, is that it means that if a team wants to run Echo, or somebody wants to play Echo, they'll just pick or they'll just ban Dokkaebi, because this is a strong enough power, coupled with the fact that she is the anti-roaming and being able to call her cell phones that can time a push or, you know, just distract people, hold them in place while they fix their phones. And so if a team is dead set on Echo or just wants to have that option, they'll ban Dokkaebi. Which, if you do that, I feel like the other team is kind of pressed into banning Echo, because it's not necessarily an admission that, okay, we're going to play Echo, but it means that Echo is on the table, and if you want to not deal with that, then you have to take Echo off the table. And so to me, I think that the current solution that they've approached might be a bit of a problem, because while it does make Dokkaebi's utility better and makes Echo, like, gives Echo a direct counter in the game, it puts it in a weird spot, because he only really has, like, one counter that's this aggressive. I mean, you could play IQ, but IQ is not the most popular to play as. And her utility is kind of... Well, I mean, I think it's useful because I don't know maps very well. So, in that sense, it's useful, but I feel like it's decidedly less effective than a character that can take over all the team's cams anyway. And similarly, Dokkaebi can reveal people's locations or catch them, you know, not paying enough attention with her logic bomb. Plus, the logic bomb itself takes people off of cams temporarily, even if it's just for like a couple seconds. So that isn't really to say that I think they need to nerf Dokkaebi or anything like that, but my thoughts are that there isn't a huge compelling argument why you wouldn't want to ban or pick Dokkaebi in a game, because she comes with good utility, comes with frag grenades, which I personally think are fun and pretty good in a battle. She offers a universal ability, and she can take over enemy cams. So I feel like there's a risk that this would mean that Dokkaebi is either always going to be a must pick or a must ban, and if a team decides to ban her, then effectively they didn't really accomplish much with the Echo nerf outside of expending an attacker ban that might have previously gone on. Well, I mean, as of right now, one of them is always going on Jackal, so I mean, not always, but it certainly feels like it. So, I don't know. I guess the first team can ban Jackal, the second team can... No, I mean, there really isn't that much of an option. If one team bans Dokkaebi, the other team is likely to ban Echo, or a team will just do both. I was trying to work out some complicated form of deception a team could use to try to circumvent it, or, like, not reveal their plan right off the bat, but... Because it's also one of those things where it's not... Neither of them, to me, are as strong as, like, a Jaeger or an Ashe, where you would want to not ban them because if you ban them, you don't get them. Like... Because Jaeger is picked in something like 90% of high-ranked competitive games, and... To me, that would indicate that, like, you're not going to ban him per se because your team probably wants to have a Jaeger too. So in that sense, it cancels each other out. But I don't think either of these ones are at that point. Dokkaebi doesn't have an automatic weapon, and both of Echo's are fine. I mean, one of them is a shotgun, but he gets an ACOG on one of his guns. So does Dokkaebi. I mean, Dokkaebi gets him on both. But neither one of their weapons feels like at the level where you need your team to have that weapon on it, if that makes sense. Whereas Jaeger and Ashe, you almost... if they're not banned and your team doesn't run them, it can feel, like, depending on the level that you're playing at, like you're missing out on value that you've given the other team access to. And I think the basis of banning is to try to avoid giving the other side an advantage that you don't think that you could take more advantage of. And that's why, like, Jackal, it's not a tricky character to take advantage of his ability, so he's getting banned. Same with Mira. And same with Echo, and same now, I think, with Dokkaebi, because, like, in order to... You need to get a pick. Your team does need to get the first pick. But in order to really maximize her. But also, it's just... You're in this same kind of unfortunate loop, I think. Of where buffing just Dokkaebi specifically to weaken Echo somewhat more. Because I would say that the other counters sort of to him are like IQ can counter that conceptually. Thatcher, if he gets lucky, his EMP can down a drone. And Nuck, the fact that she can erase herself from cams can reduce his impact. But only really like IQ and Dokkaebi can offer targeted things to take out the yokai drones. And so I feel like they're still just going to ban him rather than forcibly commit to using one of those two operators, because, like, maybe they will want to just use a Dokkaebi and they won't ban him, and that'll be that. And so they'll just commit to countering Echo with a Dokkaebi, but I feel like the options now are you either ban Echo or you play Dokkaebi. And that seems a little too simplistic at the moment, or not simplistic, but like that feels like they need a few more options still in my mind. So I don't know, maybe there'll be a further nerfing of Echo's utility so it doesn't feel oppressive, but it's a tricky spot because I think having utility that can deny the plant isn't necessarily a bad thing. So maybe it's just that they reduce the number of charges so he can't just stall out for as long as he currently can. Because, I mean, it's also, in the current form, with Jackal usually being banned, Echo can really just hide somewhere far away from the point, put his drones on the point, and just kind of, you know, chill. It can just be vibing. And the issue is that, to me, the most useful, like, Jackal's obviously the most useful anti-roamer. I personally like using Dokkaebi as an anti-roaming unit, in the sense that her logic bomb can sort of tip off if somebody's trying to do something sneaky to you. But, so if a team really wants Echo, they would probably have to ban Dokkaebi and hope that the other team bans Jackal. So I guess in that sense, you're weakening him enough to where maybe he won't get picked. Maybe. But it still feels limiting that there's not a lot of good mechanisms to ensure that he isn't able to kind of disrupt a whole attacking team's plans. And also, I guess, just as a personal level, I don't find the place, like, I don't really enjoy, if I'm playing Echo, finding a little hole hiding there and disrupting plant, and it's not the most helpful for a team. So I guess in that sense, you know, not overpowered, but obviously, the way he's currently designed, people find him frustrating to play against, and I don't know if buffing Dokkaebi's cam hack is enough to make that not the case anymore. So that, I guess, is probably the issue that I would find with I think that kind of covers most of it. I'm not trying to go, like... I'm sure there's a way you can go really, really in-depth, and you would probably need numbers that I don't have access to or haven't looked into, but just as, like, a superficial, at-a-glance take on it, that's where I would come in on it. That's my thoughts. I don't know that buffing Dokkaebi's hack is going to have the intended effect. Maybe it will. It would be cool if it did, because it would be fun to kind of... I feel like as of right now, the pick and ban portion is, it feels like too many of them are automatic. And that is kind of... It feels like it's removing an element of strategy from the game, and I think Siege is a game with such an emphasis on strategy that doing that is definitely not ideal. Because if the picks are automatically, like... Every game I've played in, I haven't played a ton of, like, ranked. I usually just do quick play, it's easy. That's the logic. Every time I've been in a game that's gotten picked and banned, I feel like it's Jackal gets banned, and I feel like it's Echo gets banned, and then there's two fun little mix-ups. And I feel like there's a risk that what'll happen now is you just get Jackal and Dokkaebi banned. Because... And then if that ends up happening, it means there's one of the teams is kind of required then to ban Echo. Because if they don't, they've already banned out the things that could really hinder him. And that makes it feel like then there's just sort of like, okay, well, there's one defender ban, and that one's usually Mira, so you've already... There's a risk, I guess, that it'll put just 4 automatic, obvious ban choices, and that's what the teams are just going to do after a certain point. And again, maybe I'm wrong, maybe this revitalizes Echo enough to where he doesn't have this issue of getting banned outright instantly, because, you know, I think everyone's main goal here is to, you know, make it so everyone's viable to some extent. And maybe there's a future operator that they have coming up or something that's going to also act as an Echo counter or reduce the sheer oppressiveness of his utility in certain situations. I don't know. I haven't really considered what that would look like even. But I don't know. I guess I just would like to see either a rework that adds another attacker who can sort of offer some Echo countering, because just that way it would allow it to be a situation where the teams don't know for sure whether or not you want to run Echo or don't want to, or want to counter Echo, so that there's at least one sort of bona fide full-on counter to Echo available to no matter who's banned. Well, I guess now I'm just going to be talking about what I'm doing.